So, cloud gaming, that's a thing.
I like it.
I know you like it because I've seen you playing cloud gaming several times.
Couple times.
Yeah, on his phone, I believe I saw him playing Fallout 4 one time.
Modded.
Yeah.
Like a mother. I had that thing modded. All kinds of stuff. And like a full-on Punisher outfit, fully, modernized machine guns and stuff, and just, it was fun. And a jetpack. It was fun.
Yeah, dude. In all honesty, I love the fact that cloud gaming is. I hope that's
not perfect.
No.
It's jacked up in certain regards. I mean, the screen will start getting jacked up. It won't refresh sometimes as quickly as you'd like it to. And
I think one thing that games will have to do is like pre-install certain assets.
Oh yeah.
Because if you pre-install certain assets, then that'll make the cloud-based part of the game a lot easier. That way, it doesn't have to import so many assets. I think the biggest assets, if anything, import like a light version of the creation engine,
something.
Or yeah.
I don't really know enough to technically give an answer for it, but if they can do it in ways like how you can play games from Game Pass on your console and stuff. I mean, I'm assuming you just download a copy to the game and it's got like a key that unlocks it when you're right. Is that what it?
Well, for the Game Pass, you just go in, confirm that you have the Game Pass, and that you're allowed to play that game.
Yeah.
And then you just download it and play. That's basically it.
So, like, downloading something, like you were saying, or a certain amount of information that's needed to let it run smooth, because it just doesn't run as smooth as you would want it to, even if you got the best Wi-Fi and everything,
or the best
router or whatever.
Not even that, dude. I mean, that is a plus, of course. But in terms of like cellular network, like if you're going, if you don't have a Wi-Fi or have a Wi-Fi out router or anything like that, and you're just depending on the cellular signal. I mean, even the best 5G signals are able to do so much.
Right.
And in all honesty, I think once data streams are able to get to the point where they're able to crunch data down with the algorithm. For instance, there's a new format coming out. Have you seen the format H.264? H.264 is the baseline for digital media right now.
Mm-hmm.
It is MP4. MP4 is basically H.264.
Mm-hmm.
That is the best one that is readily available for everybody. There came out a new one a few years ago called H.265, and that basically cut the data stream down by, I think, a third in terms of its overall size.
Wow.
And maintained its quality. Now there's a new one coming out that they are about to fully drop called H.266, and that one basically is you're able to broadcast 4K with only, I think, 1/4 of the amount of data that you would have needed before.
Damn.
So
shit's about to get real.
Well, but that's the thing. The people who developed this, the people who own it, are trying to talk to different companies about implementing it into different things, and they're wanting a cut of the pie because
why would you not?
Well, because this is one of the big things that's leading to it. Yeah. Streaming services, Netflix and all that. We've had those for years, and they've been able to handle those data streams because of it's just a raw video.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you're talking about games, you're talking about an engine where you're literally going anywhere. Yeah. And doing everything, and you have all these assets that you have to pull from, and it's impossible in a lot of ways for the data streams that we have nowadays to keep up. And I'm excited to see where cloud gaming will go in the future whenever H.266 becomes more of a reality and we have that as more of the standard. But again, whenever that happens, I'm excited. I'm excited. But also a little bit of a thing that cloud gaming another company that may get in on the cloud gaming craze, Steam, because Steam just announced their handheld PC, basically bitch slapping Nintendo across the face, be like, oh, you don't want to do a Switch Pro? here we go. Like, just laying their dick right out on the table and just being like, look at it.
For that.
Oh,
that's probably what they were beefing up for.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, fuck, we got to launch this right next to a brand new Switch, man.
Yeah.
And then the new Switch has a big screen and fuck all else.
Yeah.
You know?
A big screen and a LAN port and enhanced audio.
Came, like, maximum over prepared, just like coming to the ring thinking that they're getting ready to go against Brock Lesnar and it's fucking Beetlejuice instead. They're just like, oh.
Yeah, they show up, they work out for like a solid 2 years, like, it's like, all right, bro, let's go. You walk to the ring, all of a sudden, James Ellsworthy is standing there, and it's just like, oh, is he the referee? All right. No, he's your opponent. Okay, where's our real opponent?
Like we were talking about earlier, what about like the exclusives from Nintendo and their ability to just be like, quality games. We're going to survive off quality games nobody else has. You know what I'm saying? They can make you buy they are a company that can make you buy their system.
Yes, they are.
To play their game.
Yeah. The only time that hasn't, well, here's the thing. The only time that hasn't worked in the last 10 years was the Wii U. Yeah. And that was because of poor advertising. Yeah. That was the big reason why the Wii U failed. So, yeah, and Scott the Woz can attest to that. I mean, he's one who has spoken avidly about the. Well, yeah. Plus, he's always going to be a diehard console guy because, you know, he edits on Mac, which I mean, heck, doesn't Nikki edit on Mac?
Yeah, we edit on Mac.
So yeah, I mean, heck, you can be a Mac user and also a PC gamer.
You can respect all things. I'm just glad to be a fan and be able to have access to cool shit. You know.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. But, all right, so cloud gaming with Scott the Woz, just let's get into it. Let's go ahead and get this up on screen.
Great stuff. I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, yeah. All right, Scott, what you got?
Hello. I come from a time in which the term "Hey, all Scott here" is banned. Cloud gaming has taken over. Millions are better off because of it. Companies are less wasteful with their products. But I want a box with Mario on it, damn it, so we have to stop this!
Modern gaming.
Something stinks!
The cool thing to do when you're 24 is to act 40. Isn't this so much better? Everybody misses the good old days. Just ask Nixon. Man, remember when things were worse? I miss that. You just always look at things from your youth with more affection. Honestly, for anybody saying that this new game is worse than this old game from back in the day because it lacks the magic that one had, is that because you played that game as a kid and you always have better memories of it, so no matter what this newer one does, it'll never be better in your eyes? Or is it actually because that new thing is of lower quality?
Well,
in some cases.
I was going to say quality speaks, though. And I will say this, Super Mario 64, though its control scheme nowadays is a bit wonky, back then, just to be in a 3D world was mind-blowing. I think getting over with, like, the great drastic leap forward in platforming is what got that game over.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Also, I need to play Mario Golf Super Rush.
I think he's talking shit about it right now.
Well, here's the thing. I've seen people play it. I think I saw Smitty play it, and him and Panda were just like going back and forth, just like trying to hit each other. It's like, come here, because Smitty was playing his Donkey Kong. He's just like, I'm gonna give you my big ape arm. Like, come here, prepare to get fisted by the great Donkey Kong. Yeah,
Jesus,
dude, come on.
Yes, but no matter where the video game industry goes in the future, it's hard for people to evolve their taste and accept that this is just how things are now. When the Xbox One was initially revealed in 2013 to require...
Boo!
Well, a bad situation.
Yeah, frick you, Don Matrick.
They really fucked up.
Yeah, screw you, Don Matrick.
An internet connection to function
Congratulations.
properly. Guess who was
you
pissed?
played yourself.
I can't recall a single person defending Microsoft today. The idea your video game console needed to have an internet connection for single-player games was preposterous. Now it's a footnote. What people were once enraged about with video games have slowly evolved into something you just come to expect.
First one through the gate always gets
online multiplayer
bloodied.
Was a scam. Downloadable content.
Wait, what did he want to say?
I mean, Nintendo once said they thought online multiplayer was a
Customers do not want okay, Satoru Iwata, rest in peace, my dude. But you were wrong.
God, what a shitty take.
And here's the thing, I love Iwata. I mean, he was a great leader for Nintendo. He ushered in a lot of really great things. But this is a bad take. And it shows how Nintendo is so far behind in the online realm because their servers suck. God, dude.
Scam. Downloadable content? No! And now some of Nintendo's games completely depend on online multiplayer and DLC. Companies change, and that's fine. New ideas can be scary, and when they do come with legitimate downsides, it's hard to move on. What's next on the chopping block for video games? Well, corporations hate physical media. They want us all to move to digital, trying to make physical as less appealing as possible. I think they've been spitting in my games. They control everything with the digital copy of the game, and you can't easily return or trade that in. You don't have to produce and ship the games. It's everything they've ever wanted in a 400 gigabyte file.
Dude, I got
Yikes.
penalized for it with the Persona game. I had to wait like an extra 2 days or something before I could get Persona 5 Strikers because I got the physical version.
That's stupid.
And they had it at the store.
That's stupid.
I just wasn't allowed to have it until 2 days after they dropped it digitally. And I had no idea when I pre-ordered it that way.
Jesus,
Yeah.
man, what the hell?
It was
Look,
fucking crazy.
That is ridiculous, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you should not be punished for wanting a physical copy.
For wanting the like extra special pre-order edition, you get penalized for that?
Yeah, you're penalized for paying extra?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
God, they've been releasing digital-only consoles with no means of playing discs, and they only have this much storage? Games take up so much space and require such powerful hardware that's so expensive and requires a TV. You don't have that with movies. At this point, you just need a TV. So what if I could play a game like a movie on Netflix or play a song on Spotify? I don't download it. I stream it through the internet. It's the perfect idea.
I would like to introduce the future of gaming.
Game streaming is an obvious step to take. I mean, pretty much all of the forms of entertainment are consumed via streaming, so naturally, Wario's next. I'm not opposed to the future. I'm just scared shitless about it.
Yeah.
Gaming isn't like other mediums. It's honestly the most unique, so you can't really take what's happening with movies and music and apply it to video games. It may make sense on paper, but it's way more complicated than that. You can't ask a dog to fit into a cage too small for it, or ask a cat to be perfectly streamable online without any latency or lag. So, what is game streaming? You come to the right place. So you play a video game on your
Damn.
PlayStation 2. That entire game is included on the disc you bought and was built to run on the console's hardware. Makes sense? This is what the guy at Best Buy said. The problem is, as the years go by, the hardware ages more and more. There's more impressive technology being pumped out. And while new games come out for these old systems and they look better than last year's games, that's because the developers were learning how to use the hardware more effectively. But eventually, you just have to upgrade things. You can't keep milking the same 5-year-old hardware, which is why we got the PlayStation 3 and the cycle continues. These are all computers at the end of the day. If you pry them open, you'll find specs. With game streaming, theoretically, you don't have to worry about buying any of this beefy, expensive hardware. All you need is an internet-capable device. Playing these massive, beautiful games requires tons of horsepower. They can't just run on anything. They need to run on some kind of supercomputer, so the image is streamed from more powerful hardware to you over the internet. All of this means you could technically get better graphics than on a console via this method. You don't have to buy the expensive technology. It's already all bought and being nursed by the company that's streaming it to you. And they can continue to upgrade and fix things as time goes on. You don't need to worry about installations, downloads, patches, these big-ass consoles taking up space. It's bringing gaming back to the idea that all you have to do is grab a controller and hit play, and the game just starts. It's very much like comparing watching a movie on Netflix to playing it on a DVD. Eventually you have to upgrade to that Blu-ray player. With Netflix, you just find something you want, hit play, and it loads up through the internet, transmitting the video frame by frame. You don't have to wait to download the movie, thus having to free space on your hard drive. This is pure convenience. And it's so bad! Game streaming or cloud gaming makes me sick, and if it doesn't make you sick, you're already sick. In reality,
Fact.
it's enticing. If you're a sadist. And that sadism started in 2010. See, game streaming has been in the works for years, but it officially became a full retail product in 2010 with OnLive, a cloud gaming service hell-bent on going bankrupt 2 years later. Let's test out OnLive. You know, maybe I'm giving cloud gaming a hard time. Maybe you can win me over.
promotions for
I
this.
remember it too, yeah. Yeah, OnLive
OnLive
service
was the
is
first
dead.
big cloud gaming platform.
I would
Technology was a
imagine
thing before.
I would imagine it would be dead at this point.
Yeah.
OnLive just like
He
it,
said 2 years later.
2 years, yeah, and that was in 2012, so almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Their servers are not up.
Or the company G Cluster debuted a game streaming technology at E3 2000. What the hell did that look like?
it's through the net.
But OnLive was the first major mainstream one. For only $15 a month, you could have the audacity to buy OnLive games. Yet to use the cloud gaming service, you had to pay a fee per month, and then also had to buy the games you wanted to play at full price separately. They quickly removed this fee because when you go bankrupt 2 years later, you gotta act fast. OnLive was available on computers, smart devices, and the OnLive microconsole, which I have here. God, it's so tiny, but it has some heft to it. Don't swallow. The official OnLive controller is honestly one of the nicer controllers I've ever used, and I tried out OnLive back in the day. I played Saints Row the Third on my white 2010 MacBook. This is it now. So massive props for being the first major cloud gaming platform. Like for 2010, it worked pretty good. It also wasn't very good, but it was 2010, so it was pretty good. They had lots of big games on here. The Batman Arkham series, LA Noire, Just Cause 2, Bioshock, Assassin's Creed. This wasn't just some oops I shit my pants at GDC and announced OnLive thing. This was a legitimate service, and from my experience using an underpowered computer on a Wi-Fi connection, it was fairly impressive. You still needed some horsepower to your devices if you wanted the best experience. If you were running this on a smartphone at the time, prepare for... The OnLive app was available on mobile, but really only Android. The iPhone and iPad had an OnLive viewer app, which let you browse games and watch others playing games on OnLive, but you couldn't play the games on the device. It's the exact reason why I'm an Apple bitch today. I don't want to be overwhelmed with options. I would say OnLive was ahead of its time. For the era in which it was released, I stand by it working quite well and having more than enough support behind it. In fact, I think it was comparable to, and in some cases better than, cloud gaming services we see today. But all employees at the company were laid off in 2012, and while the service remained operational, by 2015 it ended with Sony acquiring most of OnLive's assets. You know, Sony also acquired the cloud gaming company Gaikai. They offered demos of full console games streamed via web browsers. And after Sony bought them up in 2012, I think it's fair to expect they had something cooking.
I'm pleased to announce the new streaming game service, PlayStation Now.
Oh god, it talks.
PlayStation Now.
God.
Now, Sony's answer to manslaughter. You know, PlayStation Now has been a thing ever since January 2014, and I think after I tried it out here, it finally reached a record 1 user. When the service initially launched, it cost roughly 15 to 20 bones a month based on your subscription plan, and on top of that, you still had to pay for the games, and they were all just rentals. Oh, I'm not paying enough to be fucked. PlayStation Now is sort of Sony's way of getting around the lack of PlayStation 3 compatibility with the PlayStation 4, as PS3 games were and still are the main titles offered on the service. PlayStation Now is also available on other Sony devices like the PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 3, so I believe that's enough for it to be considered famine. Finally, I can play PS3 games on my PS3 for only $2! For 4 hours of playtime! Yes, PlayStation Now was game streaming, but launched with a rental model. The pricing varied amongst games. Some offered the 2 for 4 hour deal.
This is the best we can do. Okay, time is money.
Sony.
Yeah. Well, and people talk shit about Microsoft, you know, charging for their online service. Here's the thing about Microsoft charging for their online services. With the Xbox Game Pass, it's just like, how much to play the games? Tell you what, bud. You pay this one fee a month, you get access to 200 plus games. And then all of a sudden, I actually saw Vanover share a meme on Facebook. It's just like, it's like, Nintendo, how come you don't do like an online online thing with this? And it's like, oh, this is a remake of a game that's 10 years old and we didn't really do anything new to it. $60, please. And it's just like, what about you, Microsoft? And it's just like that. And then all of a sudden, it's like, Microsoft, you dropped this, king. Just
of course, you could opt for the 6 for 7 day option. I needed some good math today. 8 for 30 days or 15 for 90 days. For Uncharted 2, it would be cheaper to buy 7 copies of the disc. But that pricing wasn't even a standard. Some games were even more expensive, effectively doubling the usual prices. Why wasn't there an option to just buy the game? Why do this whole rental nonsense? Why was it so expensive? It was cheaper with OnLive. If anything, it would have made more sense if the small startup companies' prices were more expensive and the big conglomerate could cut a deal. What's the premium being paid for here? Like, what happens when I stream a game? PlayStation Now was initially a huge bust, but as the years went on, it took on a new life as a better service. For only $60 a year, you get access to all games on the service, no rentals, no need to purchase the games individually.
That's when I tested it.
You get everything. The service still focuses on PlayStation 3 games, but there are a few PS2 and PS4 games available. With these, you can actually download to your system and play without streaming. It's a really great way to play games you're ashamed to outright purchase. I mean, half of the problems with playing Sonic Forces is owning it. But all of these games are available to stream. The PS3 games are only available to stream, so let's give that a try. Okay, pretty good. So here's the thing. My internet connection is okay. I think I'm officially the only person to not say it's either really good or really bad. It's like when the 3DS XL came out, every single review had to brag about how big their hands were. This system is so much better because I have really big hands. F me. But PlayStation Now streaming, it works. It's not perfect. If you're actively looking for problems, you'll find them. Looking at the picture quality, you'll notice it's not as good as playing the game off the actual system. Frame drops, glitches, they happen. But a lot of the time, I sort of forget I'm streaming the game. You just get kind of sucked in and play the game because that's what you're doing. You're playing a video game. Of course, streaming introduces lag. You're receiving an internet signal, and then your controller has to send a command back to the console through Bluetooth, then through the internet, and then the internet has to respond to your input by displaying it within the game. And that's just hitting the jump button. There's gonna be some lag, but with most of the games available on here, you don't need pinpoint precision. Most. I'm a Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 nut. I know what I'm talking about here. This is an incredibly fast-paced game that needs split-second reactions, and when it gets towards the end of a run, I found it painfully difficult to make turns while streaming. Oh, that's PlayStation Now. It can't play Pac-Man. Nobody else with technology from 1840 can. I think my biggest issue with PlayStation Now, though, is that it's still pretty clunky. Now it's described as games on demand. Give demand a second. It's not that bad, but PS4 games take a while to load. Playing a game boots you out of the PS Now app and it appears on your home screen like you bought it. In fact, for every single game I played, I get an email thanking me for my purchase. It thinks I purchased all of these games. They always say $0. Sony, give it up. I'm not replying. The game selection is quite good though. You get so many of the PS3's best and games from the PS4 that come in and out of being available. The service has definitely improved over time, but man, when streaming is supposed to be about convenience, PlayStation Now has too many quirks for it to be a legitimate part of the conversation. It doesn't work well for all types of games. It takes a while to load, and then when you're in the game itself, the quality is unpredictable. It depends on how your internet's feeling that day. The only reason why you'd prefer streaming compared to just downloading is to play these games on PC, where PlayStation Now is also available. Playing PS3 games, which I'll just throw it out there, if you want to play a lot of PS3 games, I might have found the perfect device. Or if you want to save hard drive space playing PS4 games, why waste 40 gigabytes downloading Neo when you can stream it? Because streaming's for bitches, alright? If you own any console from the past decade, you're pretty used to the idea of deleting files to make room for new games at this point. It doesn't matter anymore. Saving space? Yeah, that's a feature for most game consoles now. Well, at least we have NVIDIA GeForce Now. Finally, a cloud gaming service with a name for the masses. My mom asked me how the latency was on this. This is an NVIDIA Shield TV. It's a tiny box you buy to watch Netflix.
Pretty badass.
Oh, yeah.
This tiny box compared to
It's
this
also
tiny box.
emulation
if you're one of those that refuse to
powerhouse.
buy anything.
Yeah, and also the graphics card or the graphics engine that is inside the NVIDIA Shield.
The Vita, or not the Vita, the Switch.
Yeah, it's what's inside the Switch. So
With
yeah.
less than 3 gigs of RAM. No! Pretty solid user experience on this thing. I mean, its main purpose is to be used for Netflix and Hulu, but if you want to play games, there are some mobile games adapted for use with the TV. But there's GeForce Now games. Oh my god, look at all these things. These are some huge names. You know what? I'm gonna try No Man's Sky, but first I have to join GeForce Now and create an account. Alright, so I create an account off screen and log in here. Okay, I need a gamepad, and NVIDIA's fucking terrified of my internet connection, and I also have to perform a system update. No worries, no worries. Let's do that and try connecting an Xbox controller to the Shield TV for 35 minutes. Boom, found it. Can control the entire Shield TV with an Xbox controller. This is the happiest I've been in 35 minutes. Hey, let's try something like Fortnite. That game being streamable is a match made in heaven. It's incredibly popular, and having it streamed and playable on any device, that's a no-brainer. Let's try again. Let's try again harder. Okay, I might have been logged out after updating. Let me log back into my GeForce Now account. Back to the game selection. You know what? Rocket League. That's a fun game. I have my gamepad. I'm logged in. Let's do it.
I love Rocket League.
Okay, so all these games aren't available on GeForce Now like PlayStation Now. GeForce is allowing me to play my Steam library or Epic Games library or whatever on my Shield TV or other devices using cloud technology. So these are basically games on Steam that support GeForce Now. So you log into GeForce Now, then into your Steam account, and you can then stream games that you own on Steam that support GeForce Now. Okay, well for Rocket League, it looks like I need an Epic Games account. Thankfully, I can sign up via the Shield TV using my Xbox controller to control the mouse. I sign up for the account and get a verification code in my inbox. I try to enter it. The screen is frozen, so I try to sign up for an Epic Games account on my laptop. Add Rocket League to my library on my laptop, then sign into the account on the Shield TV to access it. I sign in, play Spot the Boat. And that's GeForce Now. Keep in mind, I use Apple products, so I'm a
Damn.
fucking idiot. Streaming is supposed to be easier than not streaming. I don't want to log
Yeah.
into 7 different accounts that do any of this. And keep in mind, it's not just Steam and Epic Games titles. I mean, we have Origin, Uplay. I mean, I'll do anything Uplay does. But still, basically, GeForce Now is to play PC games via the cloud. They're not GeForce Now games, they're PC games using GeForce Now technology to be streamed. The point of having games like Fortnite or Rocket League on a streaming service is so then these free-to-play games are immediately accessible, which is what the developers want. They're free after all. Especially with this service being available on a set-top box, like, people buying these types of products probably don't have a PlayStation or Xbox. Why would you buy this to stream Netflix if you already have those? So for people like them who aren't super hardcore, why the hell would they do all of this? If they wanted to play Rocket League, just buy a damn Xbox. It's the same price. This is definitely more for a PC gamer, somebody who would like to play some of their library on a TV or a mobile device if they so please. But my god, for me, this is not worth the headache, and I did a lot of research on this. Well, here's hoping Google Stadia.
Oh.
So Google doesn't know anything about video games. This will be fun to watch. Though they do have some of the most advanced internet-based technologies or technologies in general out there. If anybody can make cloud gaming viable, it's them. Premier Edition. What?
I remember when they announced Stadia, I'm just like, oh, I cannot wait for the memes.
I think I heard you make a loud noise when you heard about it.
I may have.
I think there was some sort of howl. I don't know if it was of laughter or pain when you saw it.
Yes, it was both. I was dying of laughter, and I was agonizing over the fact that now Google was trying to pretend they were gamers. And then not only that, but okay, I love Jacksepticeye, but apparently Google paid him a shit ton of money to talk good about Stadia. And he basically played Google Stadia and he said he had a good time. And here's the thing, I always say, you know, hey, it's not everyone's experience, not everyone will have the same experience, okay. But Jacksepticeye, I guarantee you, has like a 10 gigabit internet connection. And Google, I guarantee you, when they found out, okay, we need to make Jack's like playing experience flawless. Let's do everything we can to make, like, let's dedicate, you know, server space just for him, you know. And then I guarantee you he had like a very smooth thing. And I'm not gonna say, you know, Jacksepticeye, you know, tried to fool the masses. I mean, he was paid for product placement. Yeah. And he said that in the beginning of his video.
I would like to try it. I would give any of these a try.
Well, yeah, the Google Stadia, I mean, it's down now, so it...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They still message me and shit about it.
Well, they still operate their... It's a lot like how that first one that he talked about was. Their servers are still active, but they are no longer actively selling Google Stadias. You can buy one and still sign up for their services in some ways, but again, dude, it's just again, I don't know what to say about Google Stadia except for mistakes were made. And also the CEO of Google, this guy right here, his name is, I believe, Satya I forget. He's an Indian dude, but here's the thing. A friend of mine saw his name, and he's just like, Satellite Nutella. I was just like, I'm like, and now I'm not gonna be able to unhear that for the rest of my life. I'm gonna refer
Nutella, man.
I'm gonna refer to this man as Satellite Nutella for the rest of my life. It's just like I heard Nick Diaz one time. You know the fighter Khabib Nurmagomedov, the Russian MMA fighter? He called him Kano Shish Kebab.
Dude, what about... Well, this is totally off topic, but have you seen those little people from Russia that are like trying to box each other? And one of them trains with him.
Oh yeah, Hezbollah.
Yeah,
Hezbollah. I've seen him. Little 19-year-old dude, looks like a kid. The ugliest kid you'd ever seen, but still looks like a kid.
He's getting ready to fight another man of his stature, and I'm looking forward to it.
I was going to say, man, we've had like little people wrestling, and now we got little people boxing.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him versus Beetlejuice.
Oh, dude, he get knocked out.
I was going to say,
Beetlejuice drops sledgehammers. He's a professional boxer. He can't. We're not going to get him in there with Beetlejuice. But anyway.
Okay.
Or technologies in general out there. If anybody can make cloud gaming viable, it's them. Premier Edition. This includes the only 2 things you can use. What's an addition to Google Stadia about this? What could they possibly add or remove from this package to make it a different edition? Without the controller, it's just a Google Chromecast. Without the Chromecast, it's just the controller. The Google Stadia controller. See, there's never anything unique about controllers made by companies outside of the main ones. Like, let's take the Xbox and PlayStation controllers and mash them together. Whenever you see a company do this, be afraid. It's a fine controller. It's just, who gives a shit? A Google Chromecast Ultra is included, which is how we're playing this on a TV. You just have to plug it in here and watch it dangle. Setting up Stadia is pretty simple, and we're into the action pretty soon. It's pretty tethered to a smartphone app, though. You can't browse the games on the store or on the TV. We have to use the smartphone to look through games and add to our library. Oh man, it's just so much simpler this way. So streaming the games, it works quite well, in fact. Everything loads up quick enough, and while I'm in the game, things work pretty well. It's not always going to be flawless, but I do truly forget what I'm playing is through the internet, and it just feels like an actual game console. Hey, I played the Switch enough to not care about resolution as much as others, and the second Nomad, so I don't really care if it goes down to 1079p. What I do care about are the games playable. One thing I've noticed, if you want to get into cloud gaming, you better love Assassin's Creed. If you want to play Ubisoft games and very little else, sure, the selection just isn't varied enough. You did get a couple of big new releases, but it's never been enough to make Stadia your go-to platform. It can't be. There's barely any exclusives, and the ones they have, Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle? This kind of stuff gets me off and I don't care. You can sign up for a pro subscription. The basic service doesn't usually cost money, you just have to pay for the games. A pro subscription for $9.99 a month gets you the best quality streaming possible, exclusive discounts, and free games available, of which there's a decent enough selection to warrant jumping in on pro. So here's the thing about Google Stadia.
I'm out of fluids.
I think people give it a hard time because it's stupid, but it's not a bad product. It's just a horrible service. They gave up on it just about a year into its inception. The game lineup is pitiful and it's pretty much the same as every other cloud gaming platform. Oh look, Assassin's Creed and Tomb Raider. We get it! Put other games on here, classic games, modern games, just something other than what Ubisoft is doing. Most of these are games from a couple of years ago and they just aren't exciting. But like if those games release on the Nintendo Switch or something, there's a reason why people want to play it there, because it'll be a new experience playing portably. It's just not the same on Stadia, but you can play it portably. You just need a specific type of phone with a great internet connection and a controller, preferably. Look at these two people. They're playing console games portably. Which one would you trust with your life? When you have to jump through so many hoops to do such a thing, the magic is lost. And Google has shown they don't understand video games. They may think they do, but at the end of the day, the tech industry and video game industry are much more different than these companies think. So bring in Amazon. They're just as bad as Google. They have a lot of money and nobody to love. Amazon Luna is their cloud gaming service. Remember when they were trying to break into gaming with their Fire TV set-top box and they made this
I remember that, yeah.
The only things available were mobile games blown up for the TV. So I think they know what they're doing here. You know, the selection here is quite a lot better than Google Stadia's. Having more than Assassin's Creed will do that to you. There's tons of variety, and the streaming quality is very much on par with Google's. Now, that variety comes at a cost. I think Amazon said, we need a baseball game. MLB The Show isn't returning our calls? Sure! But just the fact that for $5.99 a month compared to Stadia Pro's $9.99 a month, I get the best quality streaming and way more games for free. I mean, you can play all these instantly, no purchase, no adding them to your life.
See, older games, you know, like stuff from the NES, SNES, stuff like that. If you had a gaming service that offered those that
even
do not
64
oh yeah, even 64 games,
64 level stuff.
Yeah, in 64, PlayStation 1. If you
Those are all small.
Yeah, by massive comparison. Like just instead be like, okay, stream them directly to your game or directly to your phone, and boom, you're good.
Yeah, PlayStation Classics, Nintendo Classics.
Yeah.
And just pay fucking $15 a month, and the whole library from like fucking PS2 down is just completely wide open.
Yes.
I would never not pay for that.
No, I would pay for that
never
avidly.
Not pay for that.
Bro, you're telling me I could play Silent Hill 2? As a matter of fact, you know what would be an interesting thing to do? Go to a haunted house and play Silent Hill 2 in that haunted house.
Well, tell me this. What a decline they would see in people emulating and stealing shit.
Yes.
Like it would go...
Especially because convenience and the offering of a legit way of playing stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that shit can be a bitch. Setting up emulators and doing all that shit can be a bitch.
And again, I don't think like emulating is truly like a bad thing.
No, I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it's ridiculously inconvenient, and to have the ability for that convenience to be there and the companies to make money off of the original product by re-releasing it that way.
Yeah.
It's like, who fucking loses in that scenario?
Nobody.
I'm sorry, you can't just... Well, they could still then take those games that they put on that platform and sell them for like $30 or something.
Sell physical copies. Again, physical copies.
Or not even physical, but just like, if you want to just buy this for keeps and it's not just a streaming thing,
boom.
here it is, $30. But it'll never happen.
No.
Well, I hope, but probably not.
Fingers crossed. Hope it will.
Library with a smartphone? This is way more in line with what you think of when Netflix for games comes up. Except Netflix doesn't have a separate subscription for Ubisoft's games. I mean, this still isn't amazing, but I prefer what I'm seeing here to Google. But if you want an all-in-one experience, Xbox Cloud Gaming. Microsoft's chipped away at perfecting cloud gaming for years, and to have them integrate it with their huge library of games via their own IPs and Xbox Game Pass, this is insanely impressive.
And that's what a lot of these cloud gaming operations are. Impressive, but they just get enough wrong to make them fucking putrid. So here's the thing. Game streaming makes sense, and I think it's ridiculous to act like buying a game and immediately being able to play without a download isn't convenient and neat. But there's always so many things that just rub me the wrong way about this kind of stuff. First and foremost, it's longevity. I mean, look at OnLive. That thing is gone as with not being able to download these games or just not having a physical option, when these services are down, they're down. And when they permanently go down, they're gone forever. Yeah, being able to play without downloading isn't nice. But if downloading is really that big of an issue for you and your download speeds are that bad, how do you have internet fast enough for game streaming? And the games are just never there. All of these services go after run-of-the-mill Ubisoft games, and like, I don't care! The benefits that come with cloud gaming often are outweighed by the negatives. It's unreliable, the game selection's not there, and if you think it doesn't feel like you own digital games, try streamed games. I feel like I'm at a demo kiosk playing these things. And I just feel like video games don't lend themselves as much to the streaming subscription model as much as movies and music do. With those, they're quicker experiences. You just want instant access to whatever, whenever. You're randomly like, let's watch a movie, or look up this song. Games are a huge commitment. They can be hundreds of hours long. You aren't really gonna sit down and play 20 games in a row. You're usually gonna pick one game to sit down and play, and that's your game for the weekend. So why does it matter that you can pull these games up fast like YouTube videos? Playing on your phone thing,
I have an answer.
It's just too clunky.
Sports games. Can I hear sports games? Subscription for sports games would be a win-win once again. You're not buying the same game just redone a little bit. It's on a subscription. You've got all the different sports games. Like when you get that EA Game Pass, the shit you get from Game Pass, you get all those EA sports titles and shit in there too.
Yeah.
Then I don't ever have to buy Madden again.
Yeah.
It's there with all the other shit I want to
play.
play.
And it updates, and every time the new season starts, it updates.
I'm good.
Boom. It updates and you're good.
Sports games and shooters and shit that's like repetitive that I don't want to go out and buy, but I want to be able to play with like my friends or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Jacob just got back from a shoot. He was in Orlando, or no, he was in Charlotte. He was in Charlotte, and guess who he got to film with? Guess who that is?
Who was that?
That is Christian McCaffrey.
Oh,
the running back for the Carolina Panthers. Jacob said dude was in ridiculous shape.
Oh,
like
well,
he's NFL NFL running, like one of the best NFL running backs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like in Carolina, he's like they bow to him. He's like one of the only reasons that they're a competitive team.
Yeah.
And they missed him last year because, injuries. But hopefully he'll have a better year. But anyway, sorry, back to just you talking about sports games. I was just like, oh yeah.
And he likes sports games.
Oh yeah.
So,
well, I mean, obviously, look at all those Maddens.
Game Pass is the one that I personally am a fan of as far as those streaming services, because you can do it mobily, PC, on your console. I mean,
it's amazing.
For me, it's amazing. Yeah,
I like it.
Clunky for me to really take it into consideration or take it seriously. Like, you need to have a blazing fast internet connection on the go, and then preferably a controller and a phone mount. And at that point,
just get a portable game console. Like, is lugging this around with your phone that much less convenient than lugging this around?
You can
Cloud
get a
gaming
Razer.
has taken the form of a bunch of tech companies that like to act like they know what they're doing with video games, pumping loads of money into this thing they'll abandon within 5 years. I'm open to an all-digital future. I mean, I prefer how things are now with physical games, but I'm not going to resist it. I've accepted that this is how the future is looking. And cloud gaming has a ton of potential as a supplement to regular gaming, because I will be damned if my next game console is a skin tag.
Yeah, I'm not down for that either. But
Me
he
neither.
himself mentioned that the hardware, having strong hardware to back up that streaming, is what makes it like work well. You still need that.
Yeah.
You can't use like my phone. You know, I got a Note 20 Ultra.
Yeah.
It's not like,
Well,
you know, and it still has some issues, of course, but it
Look.
does well. Sometimes it does really, really well for extended periods of time. You know, and like that, like the only one that I've played with is the Xbox Game Pass app. So
here we go. Let's look at the full specs on this thing. So, in terms of, platform, memory. Okay, so global nanometer, Qualcomm Snapdragon 7 nanometer, octa-core. Okay, there we are. So it's 8 cores. The GPU is 277 or an Adreno 650 here in the US. Let's see, memory. SD cards are micro SDXC. Uses shared SIM slot. Internal. Okay, so 12 gigabyte. Do you have the 12 gigs of RAM or the 8 gigs of RAM?
I have no clue.
Okay, well, either way, you know, these are some pretty decent specs that could run a lot of different things. But again, I mean, just it all depends on it really depends on the service that you get. I mean, here, let me
Well, like he said, Xbox, they know video games and they've been working on it for quite a while. You know what I mean? Like, they were one of the pioneers of, you know, online console gaming that made it pop off huge.
Yeah.
Because the biggest that I remember, like when I was in school, was when Modern Warfare came out. And then people I didn't even know were interested in playing online started playing online games.
Oh, dude.
Modern Warfare was like an explosion.
I remember when Modern Warfare 2, I remembered the first game I remember playing online, I think, was Return to Castle Wolfenstein. I played that with Andrew one time, and it was really weird because he had it hooked up to his little DSL thing, and it worked. It worked pretty good.
I think it was Age of Empires.
Yeah.
I played on like an old. I went to DC and my uncle worked at like the fucking Pentagon for some kind of server or something, but he had a computer that was hooked up to like the best internet at the time, and I was playing Age of Empires with people online on his. And this was forever ago.
God.
It was like 1998 or 7 or something.
Yeah, I remember the
Blew
first.
me away.
Well, the first time I heard about someone playing like online with people was my friend, not our common friend, but Jesse. He told me about when he went into the dorm rooms to visit like a family member in like 2005. He met a guy who had Halo 2 on his Xbox, and he had it plugged up to the school's internet, and it was like a full fiber optic connection. I don't know how fast it was, but he said playing online on that and like playing against actual people is just like it. I knew like from then on I would be a multiplayer gamer. I would not be a strictly multiplayer gamer, but I would be a multiplayer gamer, no doubt about it. And
I remember playing on like old school Xbox games and just playing against bots because there were online modes, but I couldn't get online, you know.
There it is, Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Gosh, 2000. Yeah, when it came out on Xbox. Yeah, it came out on 2003. Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that, and I also remember, gosh, dude, so many things. Like, how we've transitioned from... Dude, just think about this. Within our lifetime, we have been in the lifespan... Like, we came in on the second generation of console gaming. The Super Nintendo came out... Let's see... When did Super Nintendo come out? Super Nintendo. There we go. The Super Nintendo.
1990?
1990.
Yeah.
So, actually, we came into the world at the end of the first generation.
Yeah.
Or, actually, no, not first generation. Fourth generation. Let's see. Oh, that's right, because the first generation, let's see. Where's the generations? Okay, so TurboGrafx, Sega, TurboGrafx. Okay, third generation consoles. We came in at the precipice of the third generation.
Yeah.
So from the Nintendo Entertainment System on. So I think the first generation is like the ColecoVision and like the Atari 2600 and stuff like that. That was before our time. But me coming up, I remember playing the NES in my grandparents' basement, and me being the first person in my family ever to beat Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
Like I remembered, like I was there at the end. I had just gotten to where Bowser was, and I was just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then my sister runs upstairs and grabs my cousin Josh and my cousins Chastity and Stephanie, and all of them run downstairs and they watch me beat the game. And I was just like, yes! Yes!
Who's the man now?
And then I just remember like all them cheering and all that. They were just like, oh my gosh, Nate, you did it, you did it. I'm like, yes!
Dude, it wasn't discontinued until 2003.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
Jesus. What?
Discontinued in Japan, Korea, and Brazil in 2003. The Super Nintendo.
Whew.
That's literally like 13 years.
We need to get one of those 03 Brazilian models, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah.
We need to get one of those ones that, like, the last ones built, man.
2003 SNES. Here we go. Let's see if we
New
can...
Super style?
Whoa.
What the fuck?
Oh,
whoa,
okay.
Okay.
So those.
That's the one I've got.
That's the one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what
And that's
year
the
it was
Famicom.
made.
Oh, dude, the Famicom. They're basically the same.
Dang.
Because that's the thing.
Yeah.
You look at how they originally were here. You know, there's a clear difference.
Yeah.
But then you go to.
They can't see what
Oh,
you're doing.
shoot. Sorry. But yeah, these are the new ones, the new Super Styles. And then you go back here. Boom. Clear difference. Yeah. Clear. I mean, outside of the controllers, of course. But then you go here. And yeah, the consoles are basically looking exactly the same. Although square port for here and a more rounded one for here because of the cartridge differences. But still, dude, I would 97 to 2003. So they stopped making them in 99 here in the U.S. Japan in 2003. So we need to get us one of those, or we need to get us like a Famicom one.
Yeah,
I'd love that.
One.
Yeah, you've got the.
I wonder when it was made though. That's neat.
Yeah, but all right. Anyway, everyone, that's gonna do it for this one. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and hopefully we will see you on the next one. This was Scott the Woz Cloud Gaming. Gonna leave a like on this one. Probably gonna leave a comment down here as well. Hopefully we'll see you all in the next one. So until then, I'm Nate.
I'm Chad.
We'll see you, everybody. Peace out.